We're going to talk a little bit about something that happened a long time ago. A guy named Noah, and most of you know this story. Jesus talked about this story in Matthew 24, talking about the suddenness of destruction that would come along. The Bible says, God said to Noah, "The end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them." It was a violent and ugly world that they lived in. It says, "Behold, I will destroy them with the earth." God looked out, and the Bible says He saw that the wickedness of man was great, that the thought of his heart was only evil continually. Now, I don't know if you've watched the news or not, but there's a lot of wickedness in this world, isn't there? I mean, today, there's a lot of bad stuff. You just watch the news a couple of nights, and if you haven't been watching it, you'll get tired of it real quick, because it seems like it's all bad. There's trouble in Korea, and there's trouble in the Middle East, and there's trouble here, and there's murders, and there's all kinds of trouble going on in this world. But you know what? There's a lot of good people in this world too, aren't there? I mean, I run across good people all the time. People that are kind, people that are helpful, people that are nice. Back in Noah's day, there wasn't none of those people. I mean, everyone was wicked all the time. And the Bible says that it repented God that He'd made man. That means God changed His mind. God said, "I wish I'd have never even made them. They're so wicked." He said, "I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to destroy them. I'm going to wipe them all out." But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. "And behold, I myself am bringing floodwaters on the earth to destroy from under heaven all flesh, in which is the breath of life. Everything that is on the earth shall die." Now I want you to think just for a moment, if you were Noah, and God comes to you and God says, "Listen, I am going to drop water on this place over the highest mountains, and I'm going to kill everybody." What would you think about that? I mean, can you imagine what that would be like? It'd be frightening, wouldn't it? It would be, I don't know, I can't even put my mind really around what that would be like. He told him, he said, "I want you to build an ark." Now the word ark literally means box. You remember the Ark of the Covenant was a box that they had the 10 Commandments and Aaron's rod and bowl of manna and some stuff in. The word ark just means box. And he said, "I want you to build an ark. A great big box." I understand someone's built one in Kentucky or Tennessee or somewhere. I haven't seen it, but I understand it's kind of impressive based on this. It was huge. It was 450 feet long. That's a football field and a half. That's long. And it was 75 feet wide, and it was 45 feet tall. That's a 4-story building. It was huge. And he said, "I want you to build it. I want you to make it out of gopher wood. And I want you to put pitch that's a waterproofing, like tar, inside and outside. I want you to put floors in it. And I want you to put windows and a door." And he told him how he wanted him to make this ark. And so Noah and evidently his sons began building this ark. And the Bible says, "Thus did Noah according to all that God commanded him, so did he." Noah did everything God told him to do. And I think about this and I try to put myself back in that situation. And I think if God came to me tonight and said, "Michael, I'm going to flood the world and I want you to build a great big box, a big wooden box," I think I would try to do everything God told me to do. I think I would try to do that. That's what Noah did. And the Bible says that the flood came. The Lord said to Noah, "Come into the ark, you and all your household, because I've seen that you are righteous before me in this generation." So God tells him, build this ark. He builds the ark, and then God says, "I want you to come into this ark, you and your family, because I've found you righteous in this generation." He says, "And I will cause it to rain on the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and I will destroy from the face of the earth all living things that I have made." I called my wife a couple of nights ago on the way to church, and we had storms at the house. There was a tornado, and the tornado sirens were going off, and hail was falling, and it was raining and raining and raining. And she called me later, And we have drainage pipes around our house, and she said, where's the drainage pipe? Water's building up all around the house, and it had gotten clogged with all the leaves that the hail had knocked off the house and all, and she had to go clean that out, so the water would drain away. It maybe rained an hour. This was 40 days and 40 nights. You ever get tired of the rain? I mean, this rain just wouldn't stop. It went on and on and on. And on the very same day, Noah and Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons with them, entered the ark, they and every beast after its kind. And they went into the ark, and the Lord shut him in. So, part of the story that we haven't spent any time on and won't, but God caused animals to come together, and Noah loaded this ark up with animals to keep animals alive, because water's going to cover all the mountains. I mean, monkeys can climb trees, but there's a point at which the water gets over the tree, the monkey's going to die. So he had to get all the animals in this ark loaded up. They did. And they go in, they gather everyone and everything in this ark that's going, and God Himself reaches down and shuts the door. And then they wait. Did you know it didn't start raining while they were loading the ark? I used to think, rain's coming, hurry. It wasn't that way. They got in the ark, it was 7 days before there was a drop of rain. Just sitting in the ark waiting. Can you imagine? Day number 6, going, yeah. I thought it was going to rain. But they held on, and sure enough it rained. And it came to pass, the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened, and the rain was on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. What do you suppose that means, the fountains of the great deep were broken up? I don't know. I've wondered about that. I found this picture. Water shooting up out of the ground. I don't know if it was like that or not. It's what I imagine it to be like. The Bible says that the ground was just broken open and water just gushed up out of the ground. This wasn't a little trickle. This was huge. Gushed up all over the world. And rain, and it just starts pouring rain. The windows of heaven were opened. That's a picture of some storm clouds in my backyard. And they rained, but not like we're talking about. I mean, can you imagine the water and the storm, and the rain was on the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and there was so much water that it covered all the mountains, even the highest mountains, and you had this ark out there being tossed around on this water that covered everything on earth except the ark. And Noah is with his family in this ark. And everyone else is dead. Now I want you to think about this as we get into our lesson this morning. This invitation that God gave Noah, come into the ark, you and all your household. DB, can I call you DB? That's what everybody else seems to call you. I thought you were Daryl, but DB and RS and JF and would you get in that ark? I mean, you would think that would be a pretty simple question, wouldn't you? If God told me I'm going to flood the world, I would think it would be pretty, load me up. I mean, I'm ready to go, Lord. Whatever you say, I would think that.